state of safety measures, that are protecting journalists from, in-house media levels. Do you think media houses are actually doing enough in terms of providing even protective gears? Are they doing enough from your own analysis as the council?
I would not want to speak to the capacity of media houses towards now election preparedness, because I know they're all doing their best to ensure that journalists are protected. But what I can say is that we need to do a lot within this 1 year to ensure that when journalists go to cover elections, they have access to this protective. We know some have already provided their journalists with some of these protective gear. Even us as a council, we sometimes try our best to ensure that at least they have the safety jackets that we give them, or at least the jackets they wear to identify as media workers or journalists. There's a lot that needs to be done between now and the general election to ensure that journalists are protected. And that is why we are saying we cannot afford to leave this issue to only media houses. We have to have a coordinated approach towards ensuring the protection of journalists. And that is why, as the council, we need to ensure that we have a mechanism, a mechanism that will work to protect journalists. And of course, this mechanism includes media houses. Ourselves, we need to work with organizations that offer legal support to journalists, psychosocial support to journalists as well. So we need sort of a coalition to ensure that journalists are safe as we go towards the election.
Right. Perhaps have you ever thought of providing bulletproof jackets for, journalists?
Okay, the cost implication, of course, is one of the things that maybe may hinder us from doing so. But I know there are particular media houses that have actually provided this safety gear to journalists, to their journalists. And let me tell you, primarily, the protection and security of journalists primarily lies with the media houses. But we of course know that they do not have the resources to do this. So I would not want to speak above my pay grade and say and say that we will do this. But what I can assure you, Anne, is that as a council we will do everything within our power to ensure that journalists are protected as we go towards the election.
And for the sake of inclusivity, Becky, I'm thinking about freelance journalists and correspondents. Perhaps, do you think they're receiving the same protection as journalists who are attached to the bigger media houses? How would you say about the state of their security, these freelance journalists and independent journalists?
Of course, and when you go to the ground as media, whether you are from Nation, whether you are from TV47, or whether you are a freelance journalist, when there is a threat, you face the same measure of threat. You saw what happened in Homa Bay. However, as you have clearly noted, freelance journalists face a higher risk because sometimes they do not have access to some of the resources that some of the media houses can marshal. But of course, as a council, we, and together with other stakeholders, we are working to ensure that as we go towards the election, all journalists have access to the protection and the safety they require when they are on the ground. And of course, there are simple measures that all journalists need to. We accredit freelance journalists. We accredit some of the people who go out to the field to cover content creators. Some of the journalists working in media houses have now actually become content creators. We accredit them. In that front, all journalists are the same. But on the ground, we realize that, of course, there are unique challenges that freelance journalists face. And so what are we doing as a council? As I told you, one of the things we went to the ground to do is launch a media hub where these journalists can also have a space where they can churn out their stories. So together with other stakeholders, we will work together to ensure that all journalists are safe and secure. Yes.
Because an attack on one is an attack on all. As we wind up, Becky, what needs to change in the system for a Kenyan journalist to be, safe from attacks, from being killed, from intimidation?